What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So, your man's Errol Spence, as we now know, has bottled it and pulled out and faked his eye injury. Yeah, I explained to you, man, in my last few videos. Essentially, what's happened is Manny Pacquiao, as we've all seen, it's no big mystery here. Freddie Roach, Manny Pacquiao himself. In fact, never mind what they've been saying. Let's call a spade here. Manny Pacquiao has been tearing the training scene all the way up. Not even a little bit has he not been tearing it up. It's been teared up. Simple as that. Manny Pacquiao has been tearing training up, and unfortunately, where Manny Pacquiao went wrong here, his fatal mistake here, as it pertains to the Errol Spence fight, was publishing his training footage, because essentially that's what's caused this injury, this fake injury. Yeah, Pacquiao should have, knowing how sharp he was feeling, he should have kept it to himself, because a lot of these Floyd Mayweather cats, these PBC cats, they like to go into fights knowing people are old, out of shape, or they're paid off like Danny Garcia was, or Mikey Garcia, just to stand there like a heavy bag. Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia were paid to stand there like a heavy bag. 100%. That's what they was paid. That's what they was. Paid up. And if you disagree, I've never seen a boxer in my life stand there like a heavy bag. Never seen it. Sorry, paid. Yeah? And that's what Errol Spence likes. Errol Spence likes nice, controlled environments. Why do you think he don't want to fight Terence Crawford? Oops. He don't want that fight, because Crawford ain't going to roll over and jump on the floor. Or stand there like a heavy bag like Danny Garcia. So like I said, Manny Pacquiao was looking too sharp. And Errol Spence fought. What did Errol Spence sign up for? Errol Spence signed up for an old Hall of Famer. Yeah? He was, everyone, all the PBC, all the Errol Spence fangirls were ranting and raving about how this was the big one. This was the big one. They was aggressive. They was also, in fact, Errol Spence himself, scarily enough, or confusingly enough, 24 hours before Spence magically had some magical stage 4 injury, yeah, some career-ending injury, 24 hours before, he was putting posts out talking about how he's going to retire Manny Pacquiao. Retire Manny Pacquiao? Your eye was supposed to be hanging off, isn't it? You were supposed to be barely able to see. So I went there. I don't know about you, man, yeah, but if I can barely see, the last thing I'm thinking about is retiring someone, isn't it? So I'm confused there. 24 hours before Errol Spence pulled out, or before Errol Spence's eye fell off, he was all worried about retiring Manny Pacquiao. What happened to that? Because your eye weren't that bad. If your eye was that bad, trying to retire someone wouldn't have been in your mind at all. You'd have been worried about how you can't even see. But you weren't doing that, and that's what my point. Yeah? That's exactly my point. There's nothing wrong with Errol Spence's eye. No doubt. And that's where we come to today. Now I've done a bit of the history there. Because the facts are, all we've seen from Errol Spence so far has been a picture. And obviously some of you slow dudes, some of you PBC Shield fans, you're falling for it. Just a picture. Now I do give Errol Spence credit, because he's at least not as lazy as Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was lazy with his lie. I give Errol Spence his credit. Errol Spence has clearly been listening to the YB's videos. Why? Because I told Errol Spence, I said to him, Errol, you best do better than Tyson Fury did. Because Tyson Fury's lie was sloppy. He was out partying the next day. He wasn't wearing a mask. All that kind of stuff. Too sloppy. He got exposed. He was down bad. So instead, you man can go and listen to the video. I said, Errol Spence, you best at least put an eye patch on and take a picture with it. 2-2's what happens. Errol Spence comes out and puts an eye patch on and takes a picture of it. But guess what we didn't see? Number one, we never saw no scans or no nothing else. We ain't seen no official medical stuff. And another thing, where's a picture of him in the hospital bed? What's this? What is this? Just posted up on a... What is that? Where's the picture of you in the operating theatre or whatever? Where is it all that? Oops, don't no one know. All we've seen here, this would take about 10 minutes, 5 minutes to come in and put some goofy thing on your eye. No problem. Yeah? And the level of fear Errol Spence had spending 5 to 10 minutes making a little picture to put out. That's the least he could do. he's elated. Yeah, Errol Spence is elated. He can't believe his luck. He can't believe he can't believe how happy he is not to have to face Pacquiao on August 20th. And I'm going to show you, man, the proof right now. I'm going to prove to you, man, that Errol Spence is number one lying, but number two, he's buzzing not to have nothing to do with Manny Pacquiao. Because it's kind of interesting. Yeah, they allege that, Errol Spence alleges, as you can see on your screen now, in his statement. Or in his statement when he posted this picture of his eye, he says, "Oh, the doctor I was begging to fight, but the doctor said I can't fight. So rah 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 rah." Yeah. So Errol Spence alleges that he was begging to fight, and it was the doctor who said no. So my question to you, Errol Spence, is, why didn't you postpone the fight? Yeah, until further notice. Oops. Isn't it? Oh, I really want this fight, but I'm going to cancel it and not leave it. You know, he could have said the fight's postponed until 4 months' time. That's what Tyson Fury just did. And by the way, when you look into it, a torn retina can be recovered within 2 to 4 weeks. And that's for standard Joes. That's not for elite athletes. 2 to 4 weeks. Oops. So if it's 2 to 4 weeks, why haven't you rescheduled it? Why hasn't it been postponed? And this is where the kicker is. What you'll notice as well, Errol Spence don't mention nothing about no rematch. He don't mention about no postponement. He don't mention about no rematch. In fact, he goes on to say, check this out, still rocking the same colours for my next fight. So the merch will remain the same for my next fight. He doesn't say, we're going to rerun it with Pacquiao, does he? He says, for my next fight. That's not, don't know about you, man, but that doesn't sound like a rerun to me. That sounds like, oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you, man. He sounds really happy that he's kind of put the Pacquiao fight behind him. Oh, yeah, I was begging the doctor to fight, but he said no, and now I'm looking forward to my next fight. That's what he says, 100%. Let me read it to you one more time. Doc wasn't having it. No, wait there, yeah. Even though I was telling the doctor, let me fight and I'll get surgery right after, the doctor wasn't having it. I'm still rocking the same colours for my next fight. So merch will remain the same. Listen. For my next fight. There ain't nothing about no Pacquiao fight in there. He's buzzing for the next fight, i.e. moving on from this fight. That's what he wants to do. He don't want the fight. Because if he did, it'd be postponed, wouldn't it? Yeah? Spence don't want it. Spence is glad now. He's kind of wiping his head was all sweaty. His brow was sweaty. He's wiping his brow in relief. Because Pacquiao was going to split his cheeks for him. You best believe. Errol Spence, if you look carefully, Errol Spence has got two very nice plump bum. Yeah, he's got two very nice plump buns, no doubt. And Pacquiao was fixing to split them buns for him. That's what it was. Yeah? You man can be mad. You man can talk about sus. You man can talk about pause. I'm just telling you what it was. Pacquiao was going to split Errol Spence's tight little buns for him. And that's what it was. And Spence knew it. And he didn't want no more. Or, not no more. He didn't want none of it. He didn't want nothing to do with Manny Pacquiao. And if you disagree, tell your mans, like I said before, all you goofy Spence fans who think Spence was going to do something, if you disagree with what I'm saying, how about this? Tell your mans to turn up on August 20th. How about that? It's simple. If you think, innit? If you disagree, oh no, YB, he didn't fake it. He didn't pull out. Tell him to turn up then. How about that? Because what we do know is, one thing that's a fact is, Manny Pacquiao will be there on August 20th. Despite being a senator, despite being old himself, he turning up. He better than ever. Mr. Oh man, you know, iron sharpens iron, and you know, I'm whatever goofy things that Errol Spence says. What did he say? Oh man, you know, Errol Spence, and I'm Errol Spence. I'm the truth, and you the duck, Errol the Duck Spence. That's what you are, huh? Yeah. And it's funny because for years Errol Spence went on at Keith Thurman. Oh, Keith Thurman don't fight. Keith Thurman be ducking. Keith Thurman be injured. Oops. Keith Thurman turned up and took his licks like a man. And I think that's another thing. From what I'm hearing, Errol Spence saw how Errol Spence saw how bad Pacquiao had Keith Thurman. Because, listen, Pacquiao had Keith Thurman down super bad. Yeah? Pacquiao put the whooping. Pacquiao whooped him like he was listen. Pacquiao whooped Keith Thurman like a naughty son. That's what he did. That's how he did whoop him. He got whooped. And Thurman knows it. And from what I'm hearing now, Manny Pacquiao wasn't in... People don't understand this. Manny Pacquiao was not in great shape against Keith Thurman. Manny Pacquiao was probably about 50%. He weren't that sharp. But even so, even at 50%, Manny Pacquiao put the whooping on Keith Thurman. Blew his back right out for him. That's what did happen. Yeah? But you all saw it. I'm pretty sure Pacquiao was the first man to knock Keith Thurman down with a headshot. I'm pretty sure. We weren't far off. Either way, I'm sure he was the first 40-year-old man to knock him down with a headshot. How about that? And like I said, that Manny Pacquiao, he wasn't sharp at all. This Manny Pacquiao, the one that Spence was fixing to face, he was sharp. Extremely sharp. And I'm not just saying that. I'm calling it what it is. The Manny Pacquiao that was preparing to split Errol Spence's buns for him was sharp. And Spence knew it. Spence was doing the maths. Oh, wait a minute. So Keith Thurman fought a 50% Pacquiao and got whooped. I'm sitting here watching the tapes, seeing Pacquiao lighting up the training. The last thing I want is to go out as bad as Keith Thurman did. You know what? I'm out of it. Let me go back to fighting people who are paid off, like Danny Garcia or Mikey Garcia or whoever else. Let me go back to fighting the standard PBC bum stable who just stand there and all get paid off. 100%. That's where he wants to be. That's where he likes to be. He don't want to fight no anomalies, because if he did, he'd have fought Crawford already. Oops. Or he'd have fought Canelo Alvarez already. He don't want to do that. If you man look carefully at the PBC stable, what do they always do? They always fight standard stiff people. And then when they don't, guess what happens? You see what happens to Charlo. He got whooped. You understand what I'm saying now? They like this. They like to fight controlled fights. They don't want unknown elements. Because if they do, they get whooped. Because they like to talk. They don't like to really get stuck in. That's what you find out about the PBC stable. Their PBC stable is not battle tested. They're not. And Spence knew he was fixing to get a battle. Pacquiao wasn't coming to roll over. Pacquiao was coming for them buns. And Spence knew it. And Spence, like I keep saying, Spence saw how bad Manny Pacquiao had Keith Thurman down. Because Keith Thurman was down super, super bad. He was down all the way bad. Had him looking... listen, Pacquiao had Thurman all sloppy looking. Yeah? You know what Keith Thurman's like with his hair, his bobbly hair. Manny Pacquiao knocked the bobbly hair right off his head. Had him looking all messy looking. And Spence was thinking, you know what? If that Manny Pacquiao did that to Keith Thurman, and I'm fixing to fight someone twice as good. Nah, that's not gonna be me. I'm not going out like that. I'd rather pull out and be one of them ones and then do it that way. But thankfully, luckily for us Pacquiao fans, guess what? Manny Pacquiao himself has said he's in love with Errol Spence. He wants him badly. He can't stop thinking about him. That's what I'm hearing. Manny Pacquiao said, listen, Spence, you can run all you want, and I gotta listen. In fact, I'm going to do a video on this topic as well, because it's a fact. Manny Pacquiao's come out in the last 24 hours and said, listen, Spence, you can pull out. I wish you a good recovery. You can run and make up injuries all you want, but I'm in love with you. Yeah, I want you badly. I'm in love with your buns, and I'm not letting them go. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao has jail love for Errol Spence. He wants him badly. 100%. I can't lie to you. Manny Pacquiao has jail love for Errol Spence. And what we do know about jail love, you never forget that jail love. That's what you don't forget. Pacquiao in love with he in love with him. He in love with Errol Spence. He ain't never gonna forget him. And that's why Pacquiao said, I'm not retiring. I'm not going to no Senate. Me and Spence are going to get it on. And obviously now, ever since Pacquiao said that, Spence has gone quiet. Because Spence thought that Pacquiao was going to retire, Pacquiao was going to do his Senate or presidential run, and that was going to be that. He was going to be let off the hook. So watch out for part 2, because you can best believe there's going to be something else that crops up. I'm telling you now, if Pacquiao persists on this rematch, or on the fight happening again, Spence are going to find something else to say, or they're going to sabotage the camp, or one of them ones. That's what will happen, and they'll try and fight. They'll try and fight a Pacquiao that wasn't as sharp as this Pacquiao, because this Pacquiao ain't no joke. And I think it's taken for many years. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao hasn't fought the top tier. And I think that's actually been to his detriment, because when you look at Manny Pacquiao's career, people like Jeff Horn, Pacquiao doesn't fight well when he's fighting beneath him, if that makes sense. And I think this Spence fight has shown him that you need that kind of challenge to fire on all cylinders. When you're fighting people who you think are easy, you kind of fight to their level. You fight beneath yourself. When you're fighting someone you deem similar to your level, you perform better. You train better, and that's what's happened here. Like I told you, Pacquiao has got that young puppy love. Yeah, he got that teenager puppy love for Errol Spence. He wants him bad. He can't stop thinking about him 24/7. That's what he wants, and Spence knows it now. Spence knows Pacquiao has got the hots for him, and he don't want it. Yeah. But anyway, in summary, let's quickly conclude what we do know at the end of this video. The facts are, all Errol Spence has shown us is a picture. No more, no less. I've heard no statement from a doctor, even though I wouldn't believe it anyway, because who knows who that dude is? Yeah, I want to hear a statement from the professional, from a dude we know. For example, every hospital has a head doctor, or whatever in it. There'll be a head of eye surgery or whatever. Get him to tell us how the surgery went. How about that, innit? Because there'll be a man on every hospital has set people in there who are actually in the hospital. Get him to come out with his badge on and tell us how the surgery went. How about that? Oops. No official saying anything. Yeah? That's what you need to do. Because all we've seen so far is a picture. And if you disagree, you tell me. Apart from a picture, apart from things anyone could do, what evidence have we seen that this is real? Huh? Yeah, just to show me. Don't comment, don't talk. Tell me what evidence, apart from a photo anyone could make, what evidence have we got that this injury was real? And like I said at the start of the video, fair play to Errol Spence. I'm going to give him more credit than Tyson Fury, because at least I respect Errol Spence, because at least he made an effort to keep his lies going. Yeah, Errol Spence lied well. I respect that as a man, because he's not completely insulting my intelligence. Tyson Fury was just messy. He had no respect. He was just, no respect. But Errol Spence, I respect your hustle. That said, you ain't catching the YB lacking. And anyone with a brain knows that a picture don't mean squat in 2021. Anyone can make a picture. What you need to do is show some sort of evidence. Show me a picture in the hospital. And even that, you could have bought a hospital bed for all I care for. Show some evidence. Simple as that. That's what we want to see right now. Show some evidence. You must have something, because you lived it. I find it amazing that you've been in hospital for 2 days or a day, and you ain't took no photos in there. What? Innit? What's that about? No photos. Just on the outside of the porch with my eye patch. Just think about it for a second. The best you could do is take a picture with an eye patch in some. He doesn't even look like he's in a hospital. He looks like he's in some. I don't know where he is. He ain't in a hospital. Can you believe that? So you've just come into emergency surgery and no one took a picture in there. Come on, man. Especially knowing that people are saying it's fake. Not one picture of you in the bed. Not one picture of you in the operating theatre. Why don't these fighters go out of their way to prove what's going on? Unless how about that? Unless this was staged and they said, yep, put this on your eye and we'll take a photo. That's what it looks like happened right now. And as I keep saying, if you disagree, just show the evidence. Don't talk, don't comment.
Show evidence. Link me evidence. Otherwise, it didn't happen. How about that?